Okay, I had to do it on my
There you
phone.
are.
It
Okay.
wasn't working on
So,
my laptop, so we're on
okay.
my phone
Yeah, I
though.
can see you. I can hear you. Yay, we figured it out. All
It's
this
really through
technology, because
technology.
normally, yeah, you just,
Yeah.
you just add it and the person adds in. Not sure what went wrong, but hey, it's great to see you. So for
You
those
too.
that miss Lisa, Lisa was on the Hairstylist Empowerment podcast. So if you want to check it out, we'll put a link below so you can check it out. It's a wonderful interview. It's almost 45 minutes of great content that Lisa has for you. She also decided to do a Facebook Live with me today for people that want to join to know a little bit more. So what we're going to do is jump in. We're going to do a little bit of interview, and then maybe if we have some technical questions or things that people are looking for, what to do, or as I say, if people aren't commenting, then what we'll do is just maybe give some pointers and some great tips that you can use for the easy updo. So the easy updo. So with Lisa, I'd like to kind of introduce yourself, tell everybody watching kind of, how the easy to updo started, and just kind of a little bit about yourself. So right now you are a salon owner, correct?
Yes. Yes, I have a booth rental
Yeah.
salon in Perry, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go on
So
about me
then
now.
with that, yeah, so it's your time to talk, your time to go on.
Okay.
So if they kind of miss the podcast, maybe you fill in a little bit about your story, and then we'll kind of jump in to some questions and things like that.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm Lisa Enos. I've been a stylist for over 30 years. My husband's retired military, so I was a military wife, and we moved all over the place. And I've owned 3 salons, and so I now live in Perry, Georgia. And I loved upstyling. I wasn't ever afraid to do it. I would always try something, and then I always educate myself. So I take a lot of
Yes.
education. I've had great educators. I've had Martin Parsons as an educator, Nadine Donovan, um, Lorna Evans from Australia. I do her online class. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
always looking for
Mhm.
something new, and something that will inspire me, and then I can put my own spin on it. And I try to really, I call it the easy updo, and people go, "Oh, it's not easy." But the reason I call it the easy updo is because I try to break it down to make it easy. Because I think I try to
Mhm.
give a GPS on
Oh, okay,
where
yes.
to get started, um,
Hmm.
where we going, how to finish. So that's where my classes come in, and I just really break it down for you to make it a lot easier, so that you are just not dumbfounded when you get a head of hair. You actually have a plan in mind, and you know where you're going with it. And I always say it's good to have at least 2 updos that you really know how to do well, and then add to
Hmm.
that. But if you can always do at least 2, then you won't be freaked out when somebody comes in and asks for an updo. But those couple that you know how to do them really well. And then always just,
Hmm.
keep getting education, so you know how to do more. But, then oh, I know at least a couple that I can do. And I'm not going to be worried or scared of doing it. But so
Exactly,
that's
and I
how I
think
came
that's
up
a
with
tough thing.
the.
The easy up to, yeah, but I'm sure that like come prom time, holiday time, you can get pretty overwhelmed, with
Yes.
everything to do, what to do. I see Silas is on. Hey, Silas, he's watching. So
Hi, Liz.
it's
Liz
so
has a
so
great page too. Liz,
Silas is great. We love
yeah,
Silas. Yeah.
yeah,
So we got lots of content and stuff like that. So I guess,
yes.
yeah, maybe, but it's kind of good just to get over and kind of see, what their different techniques are, and what's maybe some components that you would say that you should learn, like learn how to braid or learn how to work with pieces, or is there certain foundational things that you need to that you think you should have, like your core little toolkit, kind of things that you should know?
Well, Definitely, you should know how to build a foundation, how to part the hair out so that you're separating, so that you're not working all of it at the same time, that you're actually, you know, working. I like to start in the back and then work my way to the front. And then, so if you do that and you learn how to pin, because I see people that do beautiful up style, but they don't know how to pin. You see pins all throughout the hairstyle, and it just really takes away from the beauty of what they've done. So if you really have to learn how to pin too, and yeah, so
Exactly.
and learn how to prep hair. You know, learn how what products you need for what type of hair. And so people have what another thing they have a problem with is flyaways. I always get that question: how do I get rid of flyaways? And I said, if you want a smooth texture, you have to work smooth. So if you start out working smooth, that you've really done a directional blow dry, or you've really curled that hair nice and pretty, because bent hair, you know, curled hair bends a lot prettier.
Yes.
Then you'll have a lot more of a smooth palette to work on. So yeah, so those are the main things that you really need to work. And sometimes you can over product the hair. You need a really good working spray. Don't work anything with too strong, because if they don't like it, you have to brush it out. It's going to be it's a pain to do. But if you're working with a really dry spray that that combs out easily, that has a lot of, it's really pliable, that's what you really want to work with. So those are the things that, you know, you really
Exactly.
need to.
So what's the best? What would be the best type of hair? So if a client were to come in for a wedding updo or a graduation updo, how do you have the client come in? What's the best type of hair to have them prepped before they come in?
Well, I always ask
Like, would you
them
have
to.
them have it pre-shampooed, put any product in it? Would you have them with clean, dry hair? Would you have them add a mousse? Would you have them, you know, obviously, it's very difficult if you're washing the hair, I think, right before you do the updo.
Yes. Hi, Christine. So what I have them do is I have them shampoo their hair the day before, and at least put one layer of product on it. If it's a mousse or a light gel or something, but just one layer of it. Because if the hair is too clean, it's too soft and it doesn't fold as well. So then I have to put a lot more product in to kind of dirty up the hair. So if at least it has, but there is a just one issue with that is if you have somebody with really oily hair. And I had that one time with a girl. I told her to shampoo the day before, but when she came in, it was I had to put a ton of powder in the hair, dry shampoo, to really try to work it out. So, you know,
Oh,
you might
just to
have to
dry
ask
up
that
the
question if
oil.
they have oily face. Yeah, you'll have to really, you know, ask that question. But I asked them to do it the day before. At least, you know, if they can give me 2 days, that'd be awesome. 2 days of hair not being shampooed, that I love. If it's not heavy with product in it. But yeah, the day before, one layer of product, they come in, and then I build on that one
Okay.
layer. I see what
Can
they need. And I
most
usually,
clients handle the 2 days?
well, if they're like me, because I only shampoo like every 5. But yeah, if it just depends. If they don't, if they're not product junkies, if they don't have a lot of product in the hair, I mean, even two
No.
days would be great.
And
You
for
know.
some people, the hair is always better the second day, right?
Yep. Yep. That's usually when they love it. You know, that it does great is the
Yeah,
second day.
I think it works better because then they'll have some of the natural oils already in there. And I guess they have, if they have excessive oil, they can use the powder, or they can, you flat iron or
Yeah.
use some type of heat tool in order to evaporate some of that oil as well.
Yeah, that's going to help. It just depends on how
Yeah,
much
so
they have.
that makes it a,
Probably really have powder. Yeah, you just have to go by what's going on with their hair, and that's what I can see when they come in. If what I need to use, I like really light product, so I like an uplifting foam, or a mousse, or something that's very light, that's not going to weigh the hair down, especially if you have somebody with really fine hair. You know, you don't want to use anything with oil or silicone base because it really does start to just weigh the hair down. So, and I like to stay away from that kind of stuff. Sometimes it could get staticky too. So a good tip for static is I keep dryer sheets, and I just cut little pieces of dryer sheets. And if I get a static, I just rub it through the hair. So that's a good tip
Wow.
for static.
That's an amazing tip. Yeah, I never thought of doing that, adding the dryer. I guess too, because it's for anti-static, so it kind of works the same
Mm-hmm.
way, and you kind of, have a
Right.
little light fragrance in the hair as well.
Yeah.
Sort of thing too. So,
Right.
but with the Updo, does it matter what type of pins I use?
Well, okay, so if you're having problem with your pins twisting while you're pinning, it's a cheap pin. My
Uh,
favorite my favorite pins that are very strong are Metagrip from Sally's Beauty Supply or
hmm
Professional from Cosmoprof. Those are the two I don't have any problem with them twisting. If you get cheap pins somewhere, dollar store, Dollar General, whatever, they're going to twist on you because they're just cheaply made. So if you're having a
hmm
problem with that, you just need to get stronger, well-made pins.
hmm So do you find in order to hold the hair, you can just pin like with one pin, or do you need to cross pin? Like put one
Yeah,
over the next?
cross pinning gives you a strong foundation, especially if you're going to anchor something in, like if you're going to do a roll for a French twist. I would really cross pin, or I would cross pin if that pinning is going to be an anchor that I need to pin into later. So you
Mm.
definitely, want to use it like that. There's so many different ways that you can pin. So, you just got to learn how to do it.
Yeah, you talk about pieces. So when you do an updo, do you add the pieces for volume, say in the back, or they want some fullness like down in the nape area? So do you make your own, or do you purchase them
Oh, so if I'm
instead
going to
of that?
add like a hair weft or
Exactly. So it has
yeah, so if
some
I'm
type of
going to,
foundation to
yeah.
pin into. What's the best advice you can give for somebody who wants to add extra volume? Maybe the person doesn't have hair, a lot of hair, but they also don't want to add extensions in. So then you're hiding a piece underneath to give it that illusion of having more volume.
Yeah, so if you want to add, I always say you can add hair pieces if you want to add length and you want to add volume. Sometimes
hmm
you can get away with using either like a bun, like the donuts, if you want
Yes.
just for volume, you can get away with that.
hmm
But if you want to add length, you're going to have to add a hair piece, and they're really easy. I have a video on the easy updo, and I did one where I added a hair weft, and I showed you just how to pin it in and then use it for extra volume and length. So yeah, and you can go to I have a local wig store here that has tons
hmm
of hair, from price ranges from really cheap to very expensive. So I try to keep a lot of
hmm
different colors and texture at my salon just in case I need it. But you definitely want to charge for that because that's just
hmm
extra money out of your pocket. But you definitely, if somebody brings in a picture and they don't have the hair for it, then you actually have to fill their hair with those hair pieces. So definitely you want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess with those pieces too, you can add, say they want to highlight, you can add some blonde into a braid, or if they want a
Yep.
funky color, say they have a wedding and everybody's in royal blue and they want like a little blue piece that you can kind of incorporate in. It's a great way that you don't have to go and color the hair. You can use the little clip in, and then it's an extra, as I say, like an upsell as well. So
Right.
how important do you find to retail accessories when you're doing the updos?
Well, I mean, it makes you extra money, so which is
hmm
really good. So I always have a variety of all kinds of bling.
hmm
I have a bling box that I make, and then you can always say, "Can you show me your dress?" And you can see what their
Yes.
dress is like, and then you say, "Oh,
hmm
this would be really pretty," and you can just show it to them, put it in their hair, and once you do that,
hmm
most likely they want it. So, so it's just a good
Yes.
added, upsell your but I think it really does enhance, you know,
Hmm.
the hairdo when you do that, because I love bling in the hair. So I just think it
Hmm.
makes it pop. Like it really does make it just pop. And so, you know, just have a little bling box, you know, and then there's great bling you can find everywhere. You can make it yourself. I love the button aisle at the fabric store. The button aisle,
Okay. Yeah.
amazing. You can find
Hmm.
beautiful buttons, big, small, medium,
Hmm.
and then you just glue them to a hairpin, and you can accessorize that way.
Yes.
And it's one of a kind too. It's something that, you know, nobody else
Yeah.
is
And
gonna.
you can make it, yeah, obviously you can make it original. And if you know what color they're going to go with, you can add those. And as I say, probably a craft store, dollar store, any of those places, it's great. You can find different things, grab a glue gun or some crazy glue and put it together. You have them all there just sitting at the front. You can add them in, charge per pin, and boom,
Yep.
it's all done. As I say, one great thing that I've used before is you take fishing wire, you use spray glue, and then you put glitter on. And it's a great way to feed right through the hair, especially if you have a braid or you want some intricate kind of stuff in, but they don't want maybe a big piece, but they just want a little bit of glitter, a little bit of shine. So everybody that's on now, if you want to say hi in the comments, if you have any questions for Lisa, Lisa is here with the Easy Updo. So if you have any kind of questions for Lisa, don't hesitate. We want to make sure that you can hear us, that you can see us, say hi, and then if the questions pop up, we can definitely answer them for you. So until then, we're just going to have a dialogue back and forth. We just want to make sure that, you know, everybody is finding the best ways. So we're going to go next to backcombing. Do you use a lot of backcombing when you do your updos?
I don't really like to put a lot in the hair.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get away with it, I don't. I'd rather back brush than I would back comb. I think it's easier to pull out if you needed to. I like, if I want to really build texture in the hair, instead of back combing, what I
Mm-hmm.
will do, and if you've seen some of my videos, I'll take a section of hair and then I'll push like twice to the base, and I'll use my hot iron right at the,
Ah.
like at the first inch or two. I'll put my
Mm-hmm.
flat iron right on that and then take it out. When it cools, I'll brush that back combing out, and it gives me a lot of texture right at the base. And I'd rather do that than back combing.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes backcombing just can look a little like messy. And
Of
if I really want something a little bit more smooth, I'll do something like that, or I'll use a textured iron,
mm.
like the
Yeah, and that
micro.
seems to be more popular now, the
Yes,
textured irons
yes.
where people are using that just to create different, I guess, different levels. And same, like say, texture irons, so different textures in the hair. And I think that's a tough part. I say when people backcomb the hair like crazy, right? And now they've got all this backcombing, and like you said, it doesn't really go smooth, or they don't know how to kind of cover it, or it ends up separating, things like that, or they end up using too much. So one big thing too is when you're using spray, what if somebody uses spray, now it's too wet or it gets too sticky or they find it goes flaky? What's the best way to use hairspray and what's the best type to use?
Okay,
Like
so
a,
my
say like a firm spray over a working spray, and when would
no,
you use one over the other?
right. So you always want to use a working spray, something very dry and something that does not flake or go white in the hair.
Hmm.
One of my favorites is a Quash finishing spray. I love the shine it gives. I love the
Hmm.
workability. It's very pliable. If I don't like something, I can brush it right out.
Hmm.
Another one is there's a working spray by White Sands.
I
I
love that one.
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
that
it
one.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is really great. So you want to work. I only use a working spray. Now I
Hmm.
might use some kind of thermal active. Like there is White Sands has a the liquid texture, which I
Exactly.
love.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love that too because it will comb right out too. It's a little wet. You have to let it dry a little bit when you
Hmm.
spray it in. It does start to be a little wet, but it'll dry out. It never flakes. It doesn't get white.
Hmm.
And it has a lot of workability. Now, you don't want to use something very strong until you love the up style.
Okay.
Your client loves the up style, and then you can use some kind of freezing or really strong spray at the end. But you got to make sure that everything is where it wants to be, and you don't want to touch it. So I have a quick story for you. I was working in a salon. I was working in a salon. It was prom time. I was living in Michigan, but I had a coworker who was doing a prom due on a girl, and she was using Paul Mitchell freeze spray. So
right from the get-go, like right from the beginning,
yes,
she was
right
using a
from
freezing
the beginning,
spray?
using it for everything. So the girl didn't like her hair. They could not brush it out. It was frozen. So they had to go and shampoo the whole hair. So imagine how much longer that took, having to go and actually shampoo all of that out and start over again. So you don't want to use something like that until the very end, you know.
Yes.
So you can use a freezing spray at the very end of the style, but you want to use a working spray while you're working.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to stop for a moment. I see more people coming on. So give us some shout outs to Denise and another Denise and Christine and yeah, so it's wonderful that you guys are joining. So it's nice that you're saying, hello, hi. So the thing is, if you have any questions for Lisa that you would like to know, any concerns about updos, anything you want to know, best products to use, what to do, how to price, how to do things, you can just pop them in the comments. Say so. Hey, so we're gonna wave at you there. So it's great that you guys are joining. This is fully interactive. It's not just me and Lisa talking, although it is a dialogue, but we like you guys involved as well. So if you do have questions, Michelle says hi, Lisa.
Hi, Michelle. Yeah. Michelle's my across the street neighbor.
No, but we like when people join and say this is something we may be doing ongoing. So there's always, I think, you want, because Lisa herself, she's with Guru Village. She also has the Easy Updo. Plus, you also have a page as well. So what's your page, Lisa, where people can go and check out the work?
My educational page is the Easy Updo on Facebook. Also, there is a closed group to share your work, and other stylists share classes and technique, and it's called the Upstyle Showcase, and you have to go and you have to ask to join that one. I'm also with Guru Village. It is a training company that we are non-branded, so we don't work with any kind of brands. We just do factual. We do color education, business education, upstyling, cutting. We do everything there, but it's non-branded. So we bring to you, we're not selling you anything but education. And it's a great, great company. You can go to guruvillage.net. Dennis Gephardt, he's the owner. He started it. He's a genius, and the whole company is wonderful. I just really love being a part of such just creative people. And we're not trying to, and that's what I'm saying, we're not trying to sell anybody anything except for education.
No. So exactly, and that's what it's all about. Hairstylists helping hairstylists. We want everybody to learn. Denise Clapper has a question. So going back to the bobby pins, she says, where can I find the small bobby pins? So I think she means like the little, mean the little ones? Yeah, Denise, the tiny ones.
Denise, you can find them at Cosmoprof. It's the company called Professional, and they have the small, medium, and large pins there. It's really great. So, the mini. You can find
exactly them there. The mini. Yeah, the mini. I've also found really good ones too at Sally's. So if you can't find them there, I've also found the mini, ones.
You want the Meta Grip from Sally's. Those are the strong pins, and they won't twist on you while you're pinning.
No, and I think that's the worst thing when you have somebody with like heavy hair, and then you get these weak pins. You thought, I've got a great deal. I can get a whole bin for $1, and it's like, and then they all start sliding out and popping out of the hair, and you're like, I just have it set. Now they're all moving. So what's the best way that you find to anchor them in that they're not flying out of the hair, and the best way to hide your pin?
Well, the one thing, if your pins are sliding out, is because you're putting too much hair in that pin. You have to look at the eye of the pin at the end. That's the amount of hair that pin is meant to hold. So if you're putting more hair in that pin than supposed to be there, then what happens is that pin is stuck like this, and then eventually it just slides out. So you've got way too much hair in the pin.
Okay.
Now, to really anchor your pin, you got to learn how to sew your pin in, and then so that way it's like a sewing needle. So if you'll go and grab a little at the base, and then whatever you're pinning, and you're just going up and down through the base and whatever you're pinning, and it becomes like a sew stitch. So you're just not sliding in, you're actually stitching that pin, and it really helps hold the base.
Exactly. Now, so Denise is commenting, oh, really? Thanks. And then she also says years ago, the brand was Flamingo pins. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with those.
I'm not familiar with that brand.
No. So we learned something too, Denise.
Yeah.
So it's that as well. So going to the mini pins, where would you use the mini pins over a regular bobby pin?
Okay, so this is the guideline. And this is my guideline. I'm not going to say it's for everybody. But my guideline is you use small pins for small pieces. You use medium pins for medium pieces. You use large pins for large pieces. Okay. You use hair pins to either hold something temporarily, or you use it like a tack. Like it's not going to really hold, but it's going to tack a piece in. So if I'm doing a braid and I need to tack a piece of that braid in, I'll go underneath with my hairpin and sew it in, and it's like a tack. It holds it there for me, but it's not going to be a major hold like a regular pin. But that's the guideline for when to use what pin is small, medium, large, and that's what you want to use.
Exactly. And I guess the basically, so if you have a hair pin, it's the thinner ones that are metal as opposed to a bobby pin, which is a thicker pin. Right. And I know a lot of people now with their updos, they're now taking braids, they're deconstructing them. Right. They're doing a lot of the thing where they take the hair, they spray it, they fan it out. So I guess the hair pins as opposed to a bobby pin is really good for putting that in to kind of hold that shape until it gets more solid and you kind of mold it in as well.
Yeah, or or in the blade you might have a flap of one of those loops that's kind of sticking. So you can take a hairpin, go underneath that flap, grab a little of the base and then a little of that flap, and it'll just tack it in there so it'll lay nice and flat for you. So, and the thing is too with pins, if you notice that when you take a pin, and let me see if I have one here. I probably do. Okay. So if I take a pin right here, and I'll put it up here, and you see how there's a short foot and a long foot?
Yes.
And usually the pin will have a ridge on the short foot. Now that ridge is there for a reason. That ridge, you want to pin that ridge to the base. So that's to the scalp, because that ridge is going to help that hold that hair. Okay, now on the long pins, they don't have a ridge. It doesn't matter, but you really should get used to just folding that pin, that ridge to the base, because that's going to give you more grip in your hold. Okay, so when you say how do you hide pins, this is how I do it. I slide the pin in with the foot up. So I'm going to slide it into the hair. And then once I slide it in, I grab that base, I turn it so that my ridge is right on that base, and then I weave into that scalp. But that ridge is there for a reason. So
and you find doing that technique, you don't get a bump or anything like that, or is that if you take too much hair into the pin?
No, yeah, you don't want to take too much hair into a pin, because this is what happens. Like if I go in here and I don't open my pins, the only time I open my pin is if I'm going to use it as a barrel, like I'm going to do a barrel curl, or I'm tucking a tail. So at the end of my curl, I'm just going to slide that on the end of my tail, and I'm going to tuck that in. Now, the reason I don't open my pins is because this is what happens, is you'll get too much hair in there, and that's what happens. So your pin will eventually just slide out. Because see this little eye right here, that's as much hair as I should be putting in that pin. It shouldn't be more than what's in that eye. So if it's more than that, that's what's going to happen. It's just going to pop out. So if you just learn how to pin, if you go in with the foot up and you go in, it disappears into the hair. Because once you slide it in, then you flip it forward with that ridge to the base, and then you want to weave that in. And with that ridge to the base, that'll help really hold.
Yeah, I think you really hit on some things that a lot of people tend to make a mistake. Number one, they take too much hair. Number two, they insert the bobby pin incorrectly, because most people slide in the end that's smooth, the longer end. They always put that end in and leave the wavy one with the little hook on the top, you know, and rather than anchoring it underneath. So you put it in with the flat side first, turn it, and then lock it in that way as well. And also too, that's something new that I've learned. So the eye that's at the end of that bobby pin, that's as much hair as you should take, which is understandable, because any more, it's going to start to stretch that pin, and obviously the pin is going to kind of lose its ability to secure the hair, you know, as much. And how do you normally determine how many pins to put in? Like a certain area.
Okay, so until it holds, you know, like I will hold something with my hand, I will pin it, I won't let go until I know it's secure. So it doesn't really matter like how many pins, you know. Sometimes I'll get comments like people go, oh, you use too many pins. I'm like, you use as many pins as you need to, but each pin needs to have a purpose. You're not pinning just, you know, and then you're praying to the hair god saying, please let that hold all night.
Please let it hold. If I spray it with enough firm hold hairspray, it's gonna, that liquid cement. And their hair is rock hard, and it doesn't. And then if it starts, especially if they're doing a wedding, they're perspiring, it's hot, the hair is starting to drop a little bit, but it's got so much spray in it. But what's the most common, like now, what do you find the most common trends are in the hair that you do? Like, do you do a lot of pulling out of like you take a regular braid and then you kind of pull it out? What's the easiest way to do that without destroying the braid or pulling the hair out, like out of it so it comes apart?
So, well, depending on what braid you're doing, but you don't want a lot of product in the hair, a lot of sticky product, because then it's hard to really pancake out the loops that's in that product. So I don't use when I'm braiding, I don't do a lot of spray on that, because I really want it to slide easily. And what you want to do is you want to take like a third of that loop on the outer edge, and you're just pinching and pulling. Okay, you're not taking that whole loop and spreading it out. You're just taking about a third of it, and then you're just pinching and pulling it out. I like deconstructing braids because I think they look a lot more interesting.
Exactly. So would you suggest they start close to the part closest to the head, start in the middle, or do you start pulling from the bottom? Where would you suggest that you start taking the hair from?
Right. So let's say I've braided down, but I will pull as I go.
I see.
So that I don't need a lot of slack because I'm pulling as I'm going. But if you've braided down, you don't have to braid all the way down to the end of the tail. So you want to leave about a 3-4 inch tail, because as you're pancaking out, that gets really short.
You're going to lose, part of that tail at the bottom.
So you always want to start, if you don't do it as you go, you want to start from the bottom and then work your way up, because then you need that slack to come all the way up. But it's easier if you'll just pancake as you go. So if you do 3 or 4 crossovers, and then you'll pancake out, and then 3 or 4 crossovers, and then pancake out, it's much easier to do it that way. And I think it's a lot cleaner too. The look is a lot cleaner, and you don't get a lot of messy or flyaway braiding.
No, and I'm sure.
Don't braid too tight. You know, that's
exactly.
The problem, is don't braid too tight, because you want to pancake that out. And if you get loose at the base, you can go in and pin that base, because you're pancaking out, it'll lay over. But I have people that in my classes, they braid so tight, and I'm like, no, this isn't a cornrow. This is, you know.
But I think that's also, I think it's also one thing that when we're in school, they train you to braid really tightly, right? Just to make sure that everything's in. Like literally, when I braided in school, that hair was so tight, you couldn't if you tried to lift it with a comb, it was like stuck to the head. So, but when you're doing the braid, what's the best product, and how much product should be in that braid?
Like I said, I don't use a lot of product when I'm braiding.
Hmm.
I like it clean. So if I'm going to braid it, I really like it clean because I don't like just regular braids. I just think they're
Hmm.
boring. You know, if you just
Yes.
see a regular braid and it's put into a bun, I just think that's kind of boring. But that's just me. I like it if you just make it look complicated, and you can
Hmm.
make that look complicated by just deconstructing it. Even a
Yeah.
3-strand braid, really pulling it apart and making it look like
Yeah.
lace on top of the head. So just something simple like that, like three strands,
Hmm.
you can make it look really complicated.
Yeah.
And you want that hair so people go, wow, how did you do that? You know?
Hmm.
And so, okay, so I got to go get my charger. Hold on, because I'm running out of battery.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to be
We won't
moving
be
here.
on for too much longer, about 10 minutes.
So
So if
good.
anybody has questions or oh, a traveling stylist. Okay.
I'm a traveling stylist. I don't want to
Yeah.
just like
No.
run out
So,
of
so
battery.
yeah, so if anybody has any more comments, questions, things like that, if you want to know more from Lisa, if you have hair stuff, if you want to know, just stylist questions, anything that you have for either her or me, just pop them on there. This is your time. We're here to help you grow to be a better stylist. And this is a time to ask. Now, so we like it fully interactive. If you can be, we're here to help everyone. I am a licensed stylist. I do work, have my own salon, and I also travel all across Canada, educating. I'm based in Toronto, Canada, and Lisa's in the U.S. But we're both educators, and we really love education, and that's really what we're all about. And that's why Lisa and I are bringing you this Facebook Live tonight to help you, because we know that summertime comes. There's a lot of weddings happening. There's a lot of issues happening, and a lot of times you don't know what should I use, what's the best pin to use, what's the best product to use, the best foundational stuff. I know with the braiding, that's what I've done here, because underneath it's so boring just to kind of do it. But I've done the braids, and then you deconstruct them all around. You have them loaded underneath. And the client, she sent me pictures from her wedding. She's like, this is a style, I absolutely love it, but so simple and so easy, but looks very intricate,
Yeah, it looks
right?
intricate. It's complicated.
And that's the big thing. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. And a stylist, we want to make it, as simplistic as we can. We want to make it say, work harder, not smarter, right? And
Yes.
the more you can do, and as I say, with less product, you're probably finding that if they want to change it, you don't have all this heavy duty spray in there that you need to change now you know, the style. If something
Right.
isn't quite right or things like that, what's your stand on like doing a trial before the actual event?
Definitely if it's a bride, for sure.
Hmm.
Because it's so stressful on that day. And you want to make sure that you guys are on the same page. You're going to save a lot of time and
Hmm.
stress if you've done the trial and you know exactly the look that she wants. So my brides, yes, I recommend a trial. I have them come in. We do 3 looks, 2 that they like, and then 1
Yes.
that I want to show them that I think would be really great
Yes.
on them.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you just turned sideways, Brad.
I did. Yeah, I was
Oh,
seeing
there
if
you
we
go.
could
You're
match
back.
our. I was seeing if we could match our screens, because if you
Right,
kind of have it
right,
on the same, then we'll be side by side, as opposed to me having the larger picture
right.
and you having the smaller one. But as long as we can kind of see each other and everybody can hear us, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But we'll probably wrap up in about 5 minutes. So if anybody has any comments, questions, if there's any more things that you guys would like to know, just stop in and say, saying hi. I want to thank the people that have been already with us thus far, and say I hope you're getting a lot of great tips. And if you are, just comment. Denise commented as well. I had an easy one on the mother of the bride, very simple but looks excellent. So that's elegant, but I guess that's what it is. You know what I mean? You try to make it look like it's more, like you say, more complicated,
Yep.
right? But you're actually, the work itself is saying, what do you say? The best way to do it is kind of deconstructing braids. Is that a great technique to kind of use in your
Yes.
opinion, to kind of make it look like a wow factor for them?
Yes. And I use a lot of ponytails, topsy
Hmm.
tails for bases because
Oh,
that will
okay.
really hold my style. I know is going to hold
Hmm.
if I have a base that's set up like that. So yes, you definitely. This is the thing: is you need to practice. You
Mm.
have to practice. You can't look at something one time and then just think you got it. You have to practice a lot. When I'm trying something
Yes.
new, I you know what? I'll do it 10, 15 times before I
Hmm.
really like and I'm really confident that okay, I'm really confident with that look.
Yes.
But I practice all the time. I have a room full of dolls and I practice on different textures. So I have some really heavy hair dolls. I have some medium hair dolls. I have some fine hair dolls, but not just practice on dolls. So this is what you have to do because to me to do a doll is a lot easier than a person.
Oh, of
So
course. Yeah.
you need to find models.
Hmm.
I get hair models and I say, will you be a hair model for me? And I practice on girls with all different lengths, all different textures, because that's really going to be a challenge if you don't work on real people. So
Hmm.
yes, work on a mannequin, but then get somebody that you want to play with their hair. So on my days off on a Monday, I'll have a girl come in and I'll just work on her
Hmm.
and I'll do something I want to do. And this is what I have to tell the models. I go, this is what I want to do, not what you
Hmm.
like, because
Exactly. Well, if they're
I
there
want
to
to try
model
new
for
style.
you, but I think as a stylist, I mean, our brains are wired to be more creative, and I think if it's too stifled and it's like it has to be like this and like this and like this, because I think as you're working and you're building the hair, new things come out. Or if you're trying different things, new things come out. But if somebody were to have a mannequin, if they don't have a live model, is there a better type of mannequin to look for? Is it okay? Well, obviously human hair, but what if they use a synthetic or a mixed kind of hair? Is there really a different working with that as opposed to natural hair?
Yes, let me just say, yes, Martine, practice, practice, practice. That's the
Yes.
key.
Hmm.
Yeah, you really want to work on human hair because you want to be able
Hmm.
to put a lot of heat on it. Now, synthetic
Exactly.
hair is good if you just want to practice braiding, but don't
Hmm.
put any kind of heat on it or you'll just like
It'll it'll
melt
melt
the
right off.
hair.
You'll be the next YouTube video.
Exactly. You can do a blend, you can do a
Yeah.
blend with synthetic and human,
Hmm.
but you just have to really still be careful with the heat. But I
Hmm.
like human haired mannequins. One of my favorite dolls is by Hair Art, and
Oh, okay.
she's a great mannequin
Hmm.
because I like the ones with shoulders
Yes.
because they're really
So,
pretty to
so
photograph.
and
But
it's more because I guess those ones are more the competition
it's the
type.
competition,
Yeah, the
yes.
competition
Yeah.
mannequins. Yeah.
They're expensive, but they're
Hmm.
really worth the money if just to practice. And especially with and do and but do dolls that have different lengths, so you know how to
Okay.
do some short hair up
And
styles.
I think
And
that's a big thing now because you probably have
yeah,
clients that come in that have your length hair and
yeah.
say, I want to put that up. So how somebody with like a bob, how would you put a bob up? Like say we're gonna go with your length and you said you're coming to me, I want my hair put up, I have an event to go to. So how would I kind of do the consultation and then how would I go about putting your hair up?
There's
Or do
several.
I do like a mock
Yeah.
style?
There's different ways you can do. So you can really curl the hair tight and then
Mm-hmm.
base pin the curl up. That means you're
Okay.
crisscrossing and pinning those curls that look like they're cascading over, but it looks like the hair is an updo,
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do like a reverse topsy tail where you're putting that hair
Ah,
that's going up. And
yes.
so it's a way to put the hair up too. Or you can
Mm-hmm.
do a cute braid, but really curling the hair and then being able to pin it in kind of an up style makes it look like
Mm-hmm.
it's longer and could be up. So there's different techniques that you can
Mm-hmm.
do. If it's got a shoulder length bob, you can actually do a topsy tail in the back
Yeah,
to make it look like a
exactly.
low bun, which is not a
Mm-hmm.
bun, but it actually will look like it is a bun. Just
Exactly. Yeah,
if you
I'm
have
just
enough
gonna stop you. I just want to get some of the comments are coming in. It's
yeah,
the key. So Martin says it's the key. Denise is like, did you all see Sharon Blaine? What Sharon Blaine did for KMS? I'm not sure if you saw that.
I don't think I see I
Yeah.
don't think I did.
And then Martin
I love
Rodriguez,
her.
yeah, I love my dolls because they don't complain, which is
Exactly.
perfect. Yeah, it's not like having a client, but it's a great way to just go crazy if you have some time. Like I've been doing hair, I've been working in salon since I was 14. I still have mannequins.
Yep.
Because I educate, and like Lisa, we both educate, we still have mannequins. You can never stop learning. You can never stop growing. Martin said he's sharing it, which is awesome because there is a lot of great content, and really that's where we come together. We kind of share ideas, we share stuff. And as I say, sorry to interrupt you, I didn't want to miss all these comments coming in. I just wanted to make sure that we got everybody. We say hi to everybody, welcome. So we're going to go. So Lisa is going to continue with her length hair. So she has a bob, she's going to put it up. And then what are our next steps?
Well, I wanted to say something about Martine. He's a great educator too, and he'd be great as an interview, Brad. So
Okay. So hit me up, Martin, or we'll friend each other. I do the Hairstylist Empowerment, or the Hairstylist Empowerment podcast. So if you listen to 2 weeks ago, our own Lisa Enos was on it. Great interview. So if you want to catch that, we'll put some links in the bottom so everybody can can listen to that. So it's great to meet different people all around the world, share our knowledge, share our talent, just kind of find each other. Martin, so I practice all the time, no matter how long I've been doing hair, and for a long time. So, and that's exactly it. And great educators know if you're educating others, you have to still educate yourself. Same if you're a coach, same if you're a mentor. Even mentors have mentors. Because we still need to grow. We still need to, because if, we can only come up with so much stuff on our own. Like saying, did you see like Sharon Blaine, or did you see Martin Parsons, or did you see someone else? You can say, hey, that's really cool. Let me take that and kind of wheel it to my own sort of way, how it kind of can work for me and the work that I do. Because I think we all as stylists, like Martin, myself, Lisa, Denise, anybody who's on here, you can really see how you do your own stuff. But I think for a lot of people too, updos is one of the hardest things to do. Like because when they see an updo come in, they want to run to the back of the salon.
Yes,
I'm off that day. Exactly.
Even I still get stressed, but not from my client. It's usually the mothers of my clients. And then so you can still get stressed, about it, but just have confidence in what you're doing. But yeah, that's the key to success, is you have to practice, and you have to practice your craft. You just can't say, oh, I know that, I know how to do that. I still practice cutting. I love another love of mine is hair cutting. I love it. I take all kinds of classes because I really want to be really good. I want to be a great hair cutter. And so, I still take dolls out, and I learn how to cut something and how it's going to fall. So, you still, and I've been doing it for 32 years now, like 32 years, but I still,
because I think you've done like Kim's course. And you've done some other ones, which Head Shape Matters, which Kim is an amazing educator as well. I've done a previous interview with her, but basically she went, not to get off topic, but from losing everything to gaining everything, getting her patent. It's amazing what we go through. And as stylists, I think a lot of people don't know. And like you said, the pressure and being confident and just going in and just saying, I'm going to do. So, and that's the thing, like you said, sometimes it's the mother-in-law, sometimes it's somebody else. With grad time, sometimes it's like they get their hair done and they bring 6 of their friends in around.
Yes.
So how do you kind of deal with when you have a lot of people coming in at once, or what do you have when you have a difficult client? So what do you do personally yourself?
Well, you always try to just stay professional, but to me, when you start getting a lot of that, you have to be firm right away, because they'll get you off track, and it will make things worse. So if you're just really firm and you're just like, you know what, you came to me for a reason. I'm very good at what I do. Let me do it. you know, but you still have to,
in a
be
nice,
professional
pleasant way, because us as stylists, and if you have a lineup and it's a busy day, the
Yes,
last thing you have is the time to do it 3 or 4 times,
exactly.
because especially if they're very indecisive. And I guess that's why it's very important when you do your consultation to see not only what they like, but what they don't like. Because you don't
Yes,
want to say, oh, I'm going to put a braid here, and they're like, well, I want to have bangs or a fringe down, so you're not going to braid all this across, and just, I guess, to know where they're coming from, especially because, too, you'll get some clients that have never been to you before, but you happen to have an opening, so they're coming in, right? And
yes.
you've never done their hair, you don't know anything about them, you don't know their style, so I guess that's very important within the consultation of how to do it, because we think we only need to do consultation for colors, chemical, service, but I think it's very important as well, even to do the updo, you still need to find out where they're at, what their expectations are, and if you can
Yes,
meet them as a
because
stylist.
you have to ask them, do you feel comfortable with your hair up? Do you feel comfortable
Hmm.
with volume? Because some people don't like volume. So, or they don't
No.
like it all the way up. So you got to know, okay,
Hmm.
you want your hair, maybe you want a half up, half down, maybe just swept to the side. So there's a lot of things you have to ask, and I actually do it visually. So when I ask them,
Exactly.
I take their hair and I put it up. I said, how do you feel with your hair up? And they'll say, I don't like it.
Hmm.
Okay, then we know we're not going to go that
Yeah.
direction. How do you feel like with your hair
So.
down, halfway,
Hmm.
And we actually show them,
Exactly.
we pull it up in like that so they get a visual of it. But yeah,
Hmm.
consultation is key. You have to ask all those questions, because you just don't want to waste time. If you don't
Hmm.
know the direction that they want to go, you're just going to waste time. If you do something, they don't like it, you have to take it down. So you got to ask a lot of questions,
Hmm.
you
And
know.
I guess the thing too is beyond consultation then is, do you have quick tips for certain face shapes? Like if it's round, heart shape, square jawline, I mean, and what if they brought you a picture and you knew that that style would not suit them?
So yeah, you always have to take, like, they'll bring in pictures. You always have to say that's a great inspiration picture. We could do
Hmm.
something similar, but you
Okay.
got to know that they don't have that hair. They might have that length. And then I
Hmm.
always suggest, and I say, and then I talk about face shape, because if I have a little short round face girl and she brings me a picture with something that has a center part, I
Hmm.
show her why that's probably not a great look on her, because it's
Hmm.
just going to widen her face and make her look shorter,
Yes.
and it's going to make her look wide. So you tell them that, they're really impressed, because a lot of
Hmm.
people don't talk to them about their face shape. You should do
No.
that in color, you should do that in cutting, you should do that in a lot of things.
Hmm.
But you can tell them, I think if we just slightly off center that part,
Hmm.
so that it's not center, but slightly off center it, it'll make lengthen your
Hmm.
face. And like, so you don't want to do anything wide with a really round face. Same thing if I have a
Hmm.
really long narrow face, I don't want to pile that hair high
Hmm.
up on top of that head, because that's just going to exaggerate the length and narrowness of the face. So you want to
Hmm.
maybe do something a little bit wider, or take a center part to widen that face a little bit. So
Hmm.
there are different things that you can do, but
Hmm.
definitely pay attention to face shape. And Denise said, yeah, sometimes they don't want their ears to show. That's a good one.
No.
Like, know if they're comfortable with having their ears shown, or they want it
Hmm.
covered. So a lot of different questions that you really need to ask, because it will
Yeah.
make your time together much faster, and
Yeah.
your client will be a lot happier, because and sometimes they don't tell you, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think the worst thing is they come in, they don't say anything to you, they don't
No.
like their hair, and they've taken it out when they go home, and you're just,
Exactly, and you don't
you
really
know,
want that to happen. But I
no.
think if we go to the next step, so you've done face shape, the jawline, and next, I guess, is if they have a long neck, a short neck, and then your next question after that is more fashion. What type of neckline do you have? Is it a heart-shaped neck? Is it way up to here? Is it Victorian? So how does that kind of play when you do an updo choice? So say they have like spaghetti straps, or they have a square, or they have a heart, or they have like, it's up to here.
Yeah.
They have a Victorian
um
neck.
well, yeah, you can take that into consideration. to like, and in the back, if they really want to highlight the back of their dress, there are keys that you could do like that. But I think it's going to be more is going to be how comfortable they are with the styling, and if you style according to their face shape, they'll be a lot more comfortable. So I'm more geared toward that than I am the dress, unless they really want to show off some part of their dress. So, or if they're not really comfortable and they're wearing strapless and they're not that comfortable, then I like to do something that's long, that they can kind of like hang on their shoulder, you know. So I like to do like a side swept look that cascades over the shoulder. So there's different things like that you can take in effect.
And I guess with that too, you could even do a deconstructed braid if they had enough, or add some pieces into that. Maybe they don't have quite enough hair, but it's all open, but you could add some pieces into that to give it more volume, or length, just to kind of expand or you know, increase their length as well.
Exactly. Yes, Martine. See, he does face shape with cutting and hair color. Yeah, you know what? You really want to do that, because a lot of stylists don't talk to their client about their face shape. I'll tell people things and they'll go, wow, nobody ever told me I have a square face. Nobody ever told me I had an oval face. Nobody's ever said anything about, you know, me having a round or heart-shaped face. So it makes you, they start to really get confidence in you, like you know what you're talking about when you're talking about just different things that you can, you know, accentuate and feature, and things that you want to maybe not draw too much attention to. Like even, okay, if I have, you know, a neck that I don't really like, I don't want to draw and put my length right there and point so everybody just looks at that area, you know. So there are different things that you can do in the length, just to either hide or accentuate features, you know. So a lot of things that you just have to really talk to people, you know, ask them, what have they liked before? Or, you know, have they ever liked their hair? Or, you know, things that they've had. What don't you like? I mean, ask those questions, you know, so they really think you're on the same page.
Exactly. I think you can also do that with features too, as well. Because if they don't like their forehead, you know that you need to put something down here. Or they're like, I can't stand hair in my face. You're not going to give them something that comes like a side swept thing that it's covering half their eye. You know, obviously, and same with the neck. You're not going to pull all this hair up and they have a really long neck. Or as I say, like you said, if they have a short neck and you're putting all it here, it's going to look like it's all bunched up. If they have a round face and you're giving them Princess Leia buns on the side.
Right.
You know, but I think a lot of stylists, they don't ask any of those questions. So the person comes in, they say, here's my picture, this is what I like. And then you say, oh yeah, no problem. You do it, and then you just pray that it turns out.
You know
like
what,
you
too?
said, if they don't...
Go ahead. You know what, too, is when you're looking at a picture, I ask them, what do you like about this picture? Sometimes they just like one piece of that picture. You know? And so you have to ask them, what do you really like about this picture? Maybe she just likes the braid part, but she doesn't like anything else. And so, and the things with pictures, and why I say that's a good inspiration picture, usually a picture only shows one side of the hairdo. So you don't know what it looks like in the back. You don't know what it looks like on the other side. You know, so in my class, I try to teach the things that you can do to either you want to mimic the other side or you want it to be different. And the things that you can do in the back to build that, because you have to make it up. You have to make it up because you can't see it, you know. So I really ask them, what do you like about that picture? You know, because maybe you just like this. Okay, if you just like that part, then we can do something different with all this other hair. So you know, things to ask. Hey, Stella.
Yeah, and I think it's exactly too, because even though we're talking about the easy updo, everything we're talking about, I think, applies to all areas, right? It applies to color, it applies to cutting, it applies to styling, it applies to, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff that people, and I think that's one thing that's a lost art, is really the consultation that people don't do. Everybody's in such a hurry to get it done. I mean, if you watch Lisa on Mondays, there's always something, and there's lots of great previous videos. I've learned so much from Lisa already, and I've been doing hair for years. but I'm still learning. And that's why it's great to watch other people. I don't post a lot of my work. My specialty is modern vintage. That's what I do. But, and every once in a while you'll kind of see my work. But, and I think we had a talk about this, I think, on the interview, the podcast, and we talked a little bit, I think, about, or just because when Lisa and I talk, we talk. We can talk
we
for
can
like
talk
hours, and the time already flies. You can already tell, right?
Right.
We're like already over time. But if people are interested in stuff like that, but a lot of it too, people are scared to do the work, or they're scared to show their stuff. You know what I mean? Because of bullying, things like that as well. But as I say, it's about being confident, taking control, setting your boundaries, and do it in a polite way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're the artist. They're coming to you, the professional. I'm not going to go to a mechanic to get my hair cut, right? I'm not going to go to a hairstylist to fix my car, right?
Exactly.
This is what we train. This is what we pay thousands of dollars to do. And we want to empower ourselves, but we also empower them because we also, I would say, have control, but we're very much in charge of their image. And you know that with people, even if it looks amazing mentally, if they don't feel that, and I think that's another component that we have to have a stylist as well. And going through this consultation, you can really see what is it? Is this a bold person? Is this a person that's very shy and timid, and they want to hide behind their hair, or they're like, I'm just like slick it all back. I want to be European, and they want a little Chanel at the back. You know, and they're good to go. So what's been your encounter, or just, I know you have lots of thoughts and lots of insight that you kind of want to, you know, share with the audience watching. Oh, Martin, you fix cars too? Wow, you got it all.
Your wife must love you.
It is. Well, wait till we get Martin on. We'll put Martin on the podcast, and we'll do like so in the comments, whoever's on right now, are you enjoying the dialogue with myself and Lisa right now? So if we can kind of hear your feedback, if this is working for you, if you're learning a lot, you know, or you think just her and I are talking, you know, we'll get your comments. But this is what it's about, helping each other, because of situations in life, you know, I would have never met Lisa. We've never become really good friends. We would not, like, literally, we do talk for hours, and that's not a lie. But we learn so much from each other, and I see her stuff, you know, and I watch her Updo Mondays. I see her stuff, you know, and we all help each other, and that's the way it should be. We're not in a competition. The only person you should be in competition with is yourself. Strive to be better than yourself every single day. Don't worry what everybody else is doing. If everybody's doing Vivids and you don't do Vivids, don't worry about it. Specialize in what you do. Like Lisa said earlier in the program, when you watch the replay, pick those things, how many, 2, 3 things that you're really good at. So I'll let you kind of reiterate that again, Lisa, just kind of what you said previously.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing hair. You know, when I went to beauty school, I just fell in love with it. I didn't know I would, but I really did. And I already had a talent for it. I wasn't afraid to do it. I think the biggest thing is don't be afraid to fail. You know, especially when you're learning how to do something, of course you're going to have fails. Do I have fails? Yes. Do I still have fails doing upstyles? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes, you know, the biggest thing is, like, if I have a client and if something's not working, you know what, I'm not afraid to say, you know what, I got to take that out and I got to redo it because it's not doing what I want it to. And I'm just not worried about saying that, you know, because sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's going south, you know, it's not working the way I want to. That you'll be quicker to just redo it than try to fix it, you know, later.
Exactly.
But if something's not working, just take it out and start again. And you know what? You just can't be afraid that you're gonna look bad or whatever, because we still are human. We're still learning. Sometimes things go great, and sometimes they don't go so great. It's how you transition to keep going when things are not going great. So
exactly. Well,
you're gonna mess up.
No, and
you know?
sometimes that's what I find, even with working on mannequins, just working stuff out, trying stuff out, some new things may happen from that. From
Yes.
what you think is a mistake is actually a blessing in disguise. But I always think, like you say, it's when the light bulb, you know what I mean? He failed 1,000 times, but it was 1,001 that it worked. So he just
Yep.
found 1,000. He didn't fail. He just found 1,000 ways that weren't the right way.
Yep.
that didn't work. You know what I mean? And there's
Yep.
always, and you can pull inspiration from like everywhere, everywhere,
Yep.
type of thing.
It's really true.
So
And like what you said and what Martina's saying is I
hmm
learned more from failing,
hmm
than I do. If everything went great,
hmm
I wouldn't know the aha moments or the why that
hmm
happened. And it makes you a better stylist. So,
exactly.
sometimes, the fail is it makes you a really better stylist. It's if you don't let it keep you down. If you
hmm
don't if you get a fail and you say, "Oh, I'm just going to quit. I'm going to quit. I'm going to
Exactly.
quit doing hair. I had a terrible day. I'm just going to quit." Well,
Yeah.
no, you can't let it do that. If this is really what you want to do in
hmm
life, you have to get past that. You're like, "Yep, that was a messed up day. I'm just going
hmm
to keep going though. You know what? I learned from that." And
Exactly.
especially hair color,
Yeah, I would learn it.
hair
Yeah,
doing hair
thank.
color. I
Yeah,
learned a
and
lot,
just
man.
thank the situation,
Yeah.
thank the person maybe in your head for giving you that challenge.
Yeah.
Because once you overcome that challenge, because when I was in hairdressing school, anything you hated, that's what they booked you with all day long.
Oh,
Not because they were
right?
nasty, but once you mastered it, it became nothing. So if you hated
Yes.
winding perms, if you hated putting hair up, that's
Yes.
all they would give you all day long. And with me, I trained with the world champion for 2 years with my license under Sassoon system, and having a master that you learn under, this guy was tough. A lot of people quit, a lot of people cried, but if you could work through that, it makes you so much better. But that allowed me to be an educator, be a platform artist, be a celebrity stylist, because you have to be so much better.
Yeah.
People don't just fall, and all these people that think, oh, you're an overnight success, they don't know how many years it takes. They're like, well, yeah, Lisa does the easy updo because it's so easy. They don't know that Lisa practices over and over and over again before she even shows you stuff.
Yep. Yeah,
You
because
know?
before I video, I practice
hmm
before I video. And
hmm
sometimes I love when I can get one shot video where I only had to shoot it one time.
And do it
But
once.
sometimes
Yeah.
I've had to shoot it 6, 7 times because it wasn't quite what I wanted.
hmm
So, I mean, yeah, you have to, like, everybody says, "Oh, you make it look so easy." And I'm
hmm
like, "Well, that's because I do it like all the time. I practice, practice, practice,
hmm
practice all the time." So, that is the key. If you want to be successful at being a hair colorist, at being a cutter, at being an upstyle artist, even an
hmm
educator, you gotta just drive. You know what I mean? You
hmm
got to do the work. There's nothing that comes easy. It's all takes work.
Yeah.
You have to want to do the work. People, and I think that's what separates people from going beyond, those who
hmm
really are like you and I and
Yeah.
Martine here and I think Dennis and everybody is
And we
we
all
go
do.
past
Yeah, we
things.
all have to push. We all have to
You have
push
to
through. I don't
push.
think we're all amazing. When I first started, nobody, my family wouldn't even let me cut their hair until I started winning all these competitions. I
Yeah.
competed. I did competition for 8 years. Then I had all these. Oh, now they want me to touch them. But it
Right.
wasn't that anything was really bad. But it's like everybody. But you constantly have to. And as soon as you get yourself to that next level, it makes you a better stylist. You
It
always
does.
want to get a wow from your client. As soon as your client says wow, that will always up your status. And by upping your status is by learning better technique, taking classes. The funny thing is, people don't want to pay for education, but they want to be able to learn from you for free and then charge the client and get the money from them. But they don't want to
Right.
pay you to learn.
And then I've
You
heard
know?
only 10% of
hmm
stylists, really invest in education. That's sad.
Exactly.
If there's only
hmm
10%, and then you get 10%. Yeah, I share a lot of education
hmm
online,
Yes.
but there's nothing like actually doing hands-on. There's
hmm
nothing really like it, because you're going to actually learn. Somebody going to take your hand and show you how to pin, show you how to get that smooth texture. I mean, yeah, you can go on YouTube and you can go on mine and watch a 5-minute video. You might have a lot of talent to be able just to whip that up, you know, because you practice and stuff.
Yes.
But there's nothing like investing in your education. I take classes all the time. I invest every year because, like I said before, I want to be better than I was last year. I want to be a better stylist. I want to be a better colorist. I want to be a better hair cutter. I want to do really great work. So I invest in my education. And it's not only that, but I invest in relationships. I have made so many relationships through education, which is just amazing. And when I go to a class and I see these other people who invest in their class and we follow each other on Facebook, and it's amazing because we all have a passion to learn. So
exactly.
Just the connection you can make too. And it makes me better because I like to hang around people who like to be better, you know, who
exactly. And that's what it is. Well, speaking of, you know, education, there's something big coming in June. Like, so everybody, like Premier Orlando, where I think when you go, it's like Old Home Week. You either get to see the people you already know, or you get to see all the people on social media and see that they're real people, you know? That everybody that you talk to, it's like, oh, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so, and you see them on stage, you see them working, you see them doing their stuff. And it's all about, and that's the number one key, even in business, in life, is always about relationships. If you can master that, you've got it made, and you'll have money for life, because money comes through service. If you're just trying to sell, it's not going to last. You're not going to keep those clients. You need that relationship, that deep bond with them. You have to provide service in order to gain income. Because people are buying you, they're not buying the service. And if you recommend something, they're buying it because they trust and believe in you, not because of what they think the benefits of the product are. But it's more about you as an individual and knowing your, you know, as I say, you pay thousands for school, you're the expert, be the expert. You know what I mean? Be the only logical choice, be the one. And yeah, there may be 5 other hairstylists in the same block. They're not you. So don't worry about what they charge. Don't worry about what kind of work they do. You'll draw the people to you who are supposed to be part of your tribe.
Yeah, that's so true. You know what? Like you said, don't compete with anybody. Just, you know, compete with yourself to be better every time, you know? And I love promoting people. You know what? I love promoting other educators, other stylists, because I just think we all do better if we do that. I'm not in competition with anybody. And you know what? I still have a ton of stuff to learn. There's still a ton of stuff that I can learn. And there's some people that, you know, are just my dream classes that I've yet to take, you know? So, yeah, so it's awesome. It's just, you know, you want, and to me, it keeps you motivated. Like it does. Learning, it just keeps you engaged in what you're doing. I think you don't get the burnout.
No, exactly. And Martine says the same. Passion is key, and that's really what it is. To beat burnout, you really have to keep yourself inspired. It's when you kind of give up or you let life get you down, you constantly have to be that pioneer. Create new things. You don't have to do what everybody else does. Right? Denise says she needs a roommate for Orlando. So anybody watching this, make sure to befriend Denise and check. So Lisa, are you actually on stage at Orlando, or will you just be there?
No, I'm just going to be watching. So
okay, I mean, and that in itself, and to feel that energy and to feel that stuff. I mean, and Martine, learning is vital. Denise is laughing, but yeah, I mean, having tough masters, learning stuff like this. I mean, I hope everybody's enjoying what we put together tonight. And as I say, start listening to the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast. It's not a plug, but it's only about helping. It's not about selling you anything. It's just we all want to band together. And as I say, if we can meet people, Martine can't go to Orlando this year, but hopefully there'll be other shows that are around that we'll kind of get to meet each other. And if we're there and you see, you know, myself, Lisa, whoever's coming, you know, say hi. Say it's me.
Yeah,
Chances
yeah.
are we all recognize each other from our pictures or from our things, but sometimes it's just nice to know and say, hey, we're Facebook friends. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Or we're
yes,
this, or we're that, or hey, I saw your video,
definitely.
or heard your podcast, or you know that sort of thing as well. So yeah, as I say, so we put a shout out for you, Denise. If anybody's looking for a roommate, Denise is looking. You know, hit her up. And then, as I say, it's great to kind of carpool, and that's what I did actually. The last year, we all rented like a Airbnb. We got a group of us together. We all stayed there instead of a hotel. Had a great time. Made it a lot easier, right?
Oh yeah,
And that's kind of nice. And you meet a lot of new people you wouldn't otherwise. And like you said, the
exactly.
relationships and the connections that you get. And that's kind of what we're doing now. We're connecting with each other, but we're also connecting with everybody also watching. So we're all this kind of little family tribe. We're all sharing
Yes.
stuff. We're all doing things. You know what I mean? No, it's amazing because I always start to buzz when you start feeling energy, and especially from Lisa. When we start talking, then we get wired and then we can't stop.
You're like, oh no, it's like 11 o'clock.
Exactly. So now it's about 9:28. So
Yeah.
we're going to wrap up probably like to say the 2 minutes. I'll get Lisa
Okay.
to give some final words. And to say, if you really enjoyed this Facebook Live and you want more, please say it in the comments. So if there's more stuff that you want, we'll be able to provide it for you. And hey, if you want to be on as a guest, we can kind of do that too. There's lots of ways we can do it. And if you kind of missed it, you can go back. Fast forward a little bit because you'll just me sing, hey, where are you? So just fast forward that part, and you'll kind of see when Lisa gets there. We'll also upload this to YouTube as well. So it's B-Rad Celebrity Hairstylist if you go there, if you kind of want to see it, but we'll leave it on Facebook live as well. I like everybody for interacting. Martine, you know, Denise, everybody that kind of said hi, everybody that came on. But I'll let Lisa kind of close. Any inspiration she wants to share. But if you guys really liked it, comment now or just comment after. Make sure to share this video. And make sure to subscribe too to my page, so then that way when we come on again, you'll know where we are. So I'll give it over to you now, Lisa, my beautiful
Okay.
co-host. And
I want you want everybody to check out Martin Rodriguez's page. He does great balayage. He has the color wand. It's
oh,
awesome.
really? Oh,
Yes,
wow.
it's
Yeah,
awesome.
I already
Go
friended him.
check out.
I already friended him,
Yes,
so
check out his
yeah, I already
page.
put it out there right away.
Yeah, and so it was great. He's great. Well, I just want to, thanks, Brad, for having me on. I really appreciate it. And I always love talking to you too, and just getting to, for people to know me and looking, getting to know them,
Yes.
So I love that too. And I just want to say, just always just inspire yourself. Just look at things that will inspire you. Go to classes, really make connections with other stylists. If you're in hair cutting, coloring, up styling, I always love to help anybody. I have people that will contact me and they'll send me a picture like, how would you even start this, And
Yeah.
then but I love that because I love helping people. I love just being in that kind of arena where you can just really just feed off of each other and just help each other. Because you know what, it's just a life journey, and you're going to be learning so much. Things change so fast. Technique changes, technology changes. So just always keep yourself up to date. I think it keeps you from burnout. It'll keep you inspired, and get around people that really love what you love, and people that are really positive and really will motivate you. Get a mentor if you don't have one. Find a mentor. Find somebody that you can really learn from. And it will just help you to grow, just leaps and bounds. And even if they're a little tough, it'll make you
Exactly,
better.
because they're gonna push you, and once you hit that brick wall, you need somebody that's gonna push you, push you right through that. as well. And everybody watching, I'll let Lisa continue. But if you guys have, I'd love to follow you. So if you have an Instagram or a Facebook page, kind of put it below. So if you're watching live or you're watching the replay, then we can kind of have us all connect. We'll have our little community. We'll connect. We'll get together. We'll support each other. As I say, because you may be able, even if you don't do updos, you may show us something. Maybe you're a great colorist. Maybe you're a great hair, cutter. Maybe you're good at blowouts. Maybe you're amazing at something. But
Yes.
it's kind of nice to see. And as I say, even if you guys, I think that's the best way as stylists now. We have to start putting out videos. We have to be a lot more visible, and just so people can see our work. Don't worry what people say. Just kind of get it, just kind of get it out there. And like Lisa said, like everything's changing, things modify, but it's like everything old becomes new again. So they'll take something from 20 years ago, they'll reinvent it, like the mullet. Right? So the mullet was out, but now they have a new version where it's heavily razored but totally different, and they modernized it. So it's exactly the same with hair, unless you get classics, I think, like your French roll and some things like that, which are always a classic style, which I think are your staple. It's one of your staple, I think, hairstyle that you do.
Finger waves never go out. They're always in. They'll just be modified. So yeah, you want to learn how, especially those basics, like how to do a French twist, how to do vintage waves. I mean, those are just going to be key. But like I said about the mentor, I'm going to tell you a story about my son. My son is he used to take art classes. He had one teacher, and she would always say, "Oh, that's a great job, Seth. You did so good." Now he had another teacher that said, "Oh, you need to do this. This needs to be changed. You need to do this. You need to work on that." And he actually liked that teacher better because he goes, "Mom, I'm a better artist because she tells me what I need to work on." So, you don't need mentors that'll just say, "Oh, you did a great job. Oh, you did," because you won't really learn. So if people are a little tough going, "Yeah, you need to work on this. You need to do this. You need," those are the really good teachers too, because they actually push you to be better. So yeah, I would definitely find somebody that, or even find a buddy, a buddy partner. I used to have a stylist friend. We would get together and we'd do hair cutting videos from Sassoon. He'd have Sassoon videos.
Perfect.
We'd both get mannequins, and we both would hang out together and just cut, try to cut Sassoon hair. So I mean, get a buddy that you can really hang out with, that you're going to do education together. So, because it always makes you push each other. So it's a good thing. But yeah, so
and you hit on a really great point, even for business, even for anything else. And I have that. I have an accountability partner, right? I am a mentor, but I also have a mentor. And that's really important. And that's how you push yourself. Somebody that cares enough to be tough on you. Somebody that also cares to build you up. Because if somebody builds you up with false hope and it's not great and they're telling you it's wonderful, they're not really doing you a service.
Right.
Personally. But say, even if we don't have, like, say if Lisa and I were accountable, even though I'm in Canada, she's in the US, you could still do it over Zoom, over Skype, over something, and still share and say, "Hey, Lisa, I'm having this problem." She'll say, "Hey, Brad, you did this modern vintage thing. How did you do that? I want to incorporate it in." You can still have accountability partners, even if you're not really in the same area, which is wonderful. If you can find somebody near you where you go to classes together, you make each other accountable. How many classes did you do this month? Or set, how many classes am I going to do a month, a year? And you set your budget for that. And okay, these are my top priorities. I really want to learn Updo styling. I really want to learn new color techniques. I really want to learn color techniques. Because as I say, that's going to help you become a better stylist. You become a better stylist, you get more wows, you can increase your value, right? You can't charge tons of money for work that's not even, if you're charging obviously hundreds for a haircut, they can get it at an $8 haircut place. Because you think you're wonderful, you got to kind of take the blinders off and just have somebody who's real and say, "Hey, Lisa, that thing you did, it wasn't really," but you're doing it in a kind, positive way. You're not doing it, it's because you're helping them grow, and they'll do the same for you, like everybody on here. Vintage classes. So Martine, I actually will do I'm planning to do some online ones. So the work that I do is totally different than Lisa's. And mine
Well, that's
stuff
good.
is
I
so
want to
easy.
watch.
And then you can see some of my stuff, and we'll show you. So I use modern with vintage, modern with vivids, right? So then the vivids, you get the color going through. I'll post some. So if we're friends now, Martine, I'll post some on my wall just for you, so you can see some of my work. You can also see it on Instagram, same name, BRAD Celebrity Hairstylist. If you follow me there, you'll see some of my work towards the bottom, and then you'll get the link for the iTunes and all that kind of stuff as well. But anything we have, and if you're great at balayage or color or the things that you do, I'd love to learn from you too. Most of my work is color. I do a lot of color. I do styling more for stage, runway, and as I say, if people do like Halloween or they want something, but I work as a period artist. That's my thing, right? So I like
Cool.
doing that, but I also like being very creative. And some of the stuff I've done. Some of the stuff I've done, I've weaved for a show. I weaved her hair into a bird cage with a swinging bird in
Oh,
it.
cool. Yeah.
Somebody had a wedding. We put it up. I actually made the hair into a heart inside a heart. When Titanic was big, so I'll show you how old I am. I actually she had red hair like the one from the show, but we actually made her hair into waves at the bottom and then portholes coming
Oh,
around with the hair.
wow.
So you can be very creative and still
Yeah.
make it. Another girl, she was going to a picnic. I weaved the bottom into the basket and made the hair, popped the hair through and made it flowers coming out of the basket.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
So there's lots of things that you can be, but my thing is pin up and vintage. That's my
Yeah.
thing that I love to do. And we're going to start some bigger things with that as well. But as I say, that's why we're here, to help each other. And if you
Yeah.
guys have a live or you guys are doing stuff, I'd love to be involved. I'd love to follow you guys, because we all learn everything. And I say, once you learn everything, then you might as well be done. Because I
Right.
said, if I ever woke up and I didn't want to do this anymore, I wouldn't. Because if I'm
Right.
not there 100% and present and mindful, I don't want to be thinking about what groceries I have to get, what things I have to do, where it becomes mechanical, right? You really
Yeah.
want that relationship with every single person you meet, and that's what it's going to make you most successful. That's probably your like $1,000,000 secret, is relationships. Once you have relationships with people, that's going to sustain you for life, because they're going to be invested. They're
Yeah.
invested in you because you're invested in them. And it's
Right.
less about the money, but as I say, it comes through service. So I'll let you kind of wrap up now, because if not, we'll just
Again.
talk literally till 11 o'clock, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, so everybody,
Um,
Denise, Martine, post your Instagram, post your Facebook pages, so that we can follow, and also anybody seeing the replay of this, they can also follow you guys as well.
yeah.
Just to support each other, right? Like,
Yeah.
comment, share, and we'll do it for all of you. And that's what it's all about, creating a team of people. Doesn't have I don't need 600 people watching, 1,000. Even if we have a nice little core group, I'm happy with that too. That everybody that here is invested, they want to learn, they want to grow, they want to share, because we want to hear you guys kind of talk as much as we do. And we talk a
Right.
lot. Maybe me
Right.
more than you, but we talk a lot.
But
So
you
I'll
know
let
what?
you continue. I'll let you
You
continue,
said
and I'll just listen.
you said
Yeah.
you said about being mechanical. Your clients can even tell when you get mechanical. They say
Mhm.
most clients will leave their hairstylist because their hairstylist won't give them anything new. They just
Mhm.
come in, you give them the same thing, because you're in that mode. You're just going through the motions, being mechanical. And even your
Yeah.
clients, they'll stay with you a long time, but even they get tired of that. They want something, inspired, new, something
Mhm.
that you're going to do for them. So, you got to be in that mindset to do that. But yeah, you know what? It's just love what you do. Just love what you
Mhm.
do, and just do things that will make you fall in love with what you do. I think
Mhm.
that's key. So, yeah, I'm just gonna say that's all for tonight. That's all I have for tonight, and I'm gonna let
Oh,
everybody go.
that's the hook, because now she leaves you with wanting more. So
Yes.
if you guys definitely want more, I think Lisa and I would be more than happy. I can't speak for her, but I think she would love to come back and connect with you guys again as well. It won't be every single day, but we'll set some dates ahead of time,
Yeah.
and then we can kind of have your questions ready. Anything you want to ask us about hair, about updos, about being a stylist, about life, just even us, about as people.
Yep.
Because so many people have issues, like even as I say, not a plug, but even like this week on the Hairstylist Empowerment, it's all about anxiety, depression, like things like that. And I think those are things that a lot of us as stylists have. We
Yes.
deal with so many people, we take on a lot of their energy
Yes.
and their
Yeah.
stuff, and it's not ours. So it really shows you in the podcast really what to do. And as I say, last week was on cybersecurity, how to protect yourself when you're in business. And then say before, our first wonderful guest was Lisa. You know, I mean, she has a great story, and it's wonderful. So it's available on the podcast or on YouTube. So we'll wrap it up now. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll connect next time, and then Lisa and I will kind of work something out.
Thanks, everybody. Great seeing you. Okay, bye.
Bye. Have a great night. And
You
if you're
too.
watching on the replay, we'll say hi. See you next time.
Okay, happy styling.